We must.
Oh, if we must, we must.
We must begin.
We must, because we have to. It is our weekly obligation to ourselves and to you, the audience.
Can you,
Audacity is not optimized for your Mac. Okay,
yeah,
I know.
Can you, speaking of optimizing situation, can you mute the,
yes.
please?
I can mute the TV, but I cannot mute
Travis?
Yes. I say the external talking.
Should I put on the One Strange Rock?
Yeah, that's fine. I haven't seen it yet.
It'll be pretty to look at.
Done. Go back. Here we go. Alright, well,
It's time.
Yep, we're live. It's not ideal that we're starting so late. So I was supposed to be done at 5.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, no, it will.
We'll make do with what we have.
That's what I say when I enter my kitchen.
Yeah, we'll make do. That's what I say when I make it when I go into my bathroom.
Oh, good. I thought you were going to say your bedroom there for a second.
I mean, anywhere really. I'm not picky. But where the do goes. Okay.
Where the do goes, you go. As you go, the do go. And we go, I'll be in LA.
Yeah, sure.
Do gong gong gong.
Let's get to it. Hi. Hello.
And we're starting.
And we're starting. It's the Media Boat Podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Hi, it's the Media Boat Podcast. If you don't know what we are a podcast that's dedicated to bringing you news about movies, television, video games, and music. Not necessarily in that order.
You did that on purpose.
I did. Today is Wednesday, February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day.
So it's Galentine's Day?
All you guys out there, or whoever you may be, enjoy tomorrow with a significant other, or just treat yourself. You know, that's also a good use for the day. But yeah, it's the 13th. This is episode 162. My name is Matt. His name is Mike.
I'm Mike. He's Matt. We go live Wednesdays if
True.
you'd like to tune in and chat with us.
Yeah. Just
It's
go
Wednesday.
to YouTube. Search Media Boat Podcast and you'll find our page.
Yep.
If you want to do that. But let's get rolling right into it. We have a bunch of stuff to cover.
We got a bunch of thoughts.
Yes, we have
One
things.
of each. One of each thoughts, actually.
Yeah, we have things to talk
Yeah.
about. So let's get started with movies, and we always start movies with the weekend box office numbers.
So last week I predicted Lego Movie, the family film, would win out.
And you predicted correctly. Turns out your number one movie is indeed Lego Movie 2. At number one with a $34 million debut.
To put that in perspective, the first Lego Movie, Lego Movie 1, I guess, made $72 million in its opening weekend.
Yeah, diminishing returns, turns out. But it was a busier time of year this year than it was when the first one came out. So yeah, it's not that scary. It'll make its money eventually.
We'll talk about it in a bit here.
But yes, we saw it. We have both seen this movie, so we'll talk about it a little later. First, though, let's recap the rest of this top 5. Next up, What Men Want, coming in at number 2. Only $18 million, just about half of what Lego Movie did.
So what men want is to not see this film.
Probably. Doesn't seem like a lot of people are enjoying it either. But yeah, low returns for its debut. Number 3, Cold Pursuit with $11 million.
Mm-hmm. Is that the Liam Neeson Taken in the Snow that's not the gray?
Yeah. Number 4, The Upside with another $7 million. That's at 85 domestic right now. And then wrapping up your top 5, Glass with another $6.2 million. That thing's at 98, so right under $100 million. Which is big. Like, it'll make it, but it won't make it quickly.
Definitely won't make it quickly.
Yeah. So yeah, those are your top 5. Yeah. Should we talk about Lego Movie now? Get some energy in this podcast.
Get some thoughts going.
I feel very NPR right now.
Yeah, we are very NPR. We're not. Okay, yeah. Let's inject some thoughts into this thing.
Let's talk about the Lego Movie 2, the second part.
All right, Lego Movie.
Full name of this movie.
Yes. Okay.
So going into this, we are fans, as we've said before, of the first Lego movie.
We are specifically fans of Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
This is also true.
Who wrote wrote and directed the first Lego movie.
Yes.
They only wrote the Lego Movie Part 2.
Yeah, that's true. Which is in line with the last two of the Lego franchise, because you had Lego Batman, which was also not directed by them. And
but they got story, not
credit.
Screenplay.
Yes. And then the Ninjago,
which
Lego Ninjago.
they also got story and not credit.
So yeah, it's like not necessarily completely their series, but they're involved in each of these.
They are executive producers on these Lego projects.
Right. So you saw all of these movies.
Yes.
And it seemed like they got slightly, not worse, but slightly less fun as it went on. Like the Ninjago, you said it had its moments, but generally speaking, it didn't rise up to the echelon of those first two.
Well, considering the first one was a literal breakout hit out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then coming off of that was Batman, which was a solid franchise already as a Batman franchise. And then you throw in all the Lego stuff with it. It turned out to be a really good film. You liked it.
Yeah. The Batman one was alright.
And then I saw Ninjago, and I was, while I did, like you said, I did like its parts. The parts did not qualify for the sum of its whole.
You like those bricks, but you didn't like what the spaceships that the bricks made?
Yes. I liked its parts, but not the house it built.
Fair enough. So yeah, the first one, I think one of those reasons why it worked so well was because, like you said, it was a big surprise. Mm-hmm. And no one expected it to be that good. And it was pretty amazing.
Well, when you start with zero expectations, it's easy to go up.
Right.
But as the Lego Movie Part 2 shows, when you have such high expectations, it's really easy to not meet them.
So yeah, the thing about the Lego Movie 2 is that, it's like, if it wasn't for that first movie being such a big surprise and being executed as well as it was, I think that this one would have been just as beloved.
There are definitely elements in there that really resonate with me from the first Lego movie.
Yeah.
But they just weren't as often or as impactful, I feel.
So yeah, okay. So what we're kind of beating around the bush around is that this one not as good. Like, let's get that get ahead of that conversation.
Okay.
Lego Movie Part 2 is not as good as the first part, but that it's a sequel. Most sequels, if you're not Spider-Man 2, are going to be worse than the first one. It's just that's how stories work. You're introduced to something, it's more of a surprise, it's more novel, and when it comes around to revisit the same characters, it's not as fun because you already know these characters. You already know what kind of things are going to happen to them. You've
already been through this journey. They've already had a character arc you've seen.
They do make a pretty good effort in this movie to keep surprising you, though.
Yes.
I think the story takes you to places that you do not expect at the beginning. There's some revelations that it managed to pull off in a manner of which that we saw in the first one, but kind of different. But it does kind of follow the same beats that the first movie's story did.
Yeah.
It's like, here, we're going to establish the current state of all your characters. We're going to screw that up and then have a jump forward in time. We're going to establish this background thing that's happening at the same time that will be important at the end, and then have the two worlds converge at the end. They do the same thing in this one, note for note. But this time, it's not the characters that are the thing grabbing you, because you already know all the characters. And so there's less to hang on to.
Not only that, but you already know the twist from the first one, which is it's being played in a house.
Right.
A real life house.
I was not trying to...
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Because that's the thing is that, since you said it, then I guess we could do that. I was trying to not spoil that.
I'm sorry, the movie's been out for 4 years.
Yeah,
the original.
Obviously, that's what happens in the first one.
Yes.
But I didn't want to spoil that happens again here. Because that was one of the things, the questions I had about this movie before before it came out. Like, the trailers didn't give you any hints about that kind of thing. So yeah, I was genuinely like surprised to be like, oh, okay, they are wrapping in the human family into this as well. And the way they do it, I think, is really, really good. And I think it touches on a piece of that story that the first one didn't, in a way that resonated with me, and presumably you, as someone who grew up with a sibling.
Yes.
And had to share toys and play experiences with.
Right, share.
Well, at least I did. But yeah, so it's like it does that really, really well, I thought, and like I think overall it takes a while for it to get to an emotional core.
Yeah.
But the fact that it even gets there is good, because I was worried that it was not going to have one at all.
Okay, so speaking of stuff we're worrying about in this film, in the very for the first half of this film, I was super worried that they basically gave this thing no budget, as Chris Pratt voiced two characters, and basically was just him talking to himself for like a good chunk of the film.
Yeah.
So it's like, did they not stretch for the extra characters, or the extra pieces, or the extra voice actors? Because there are ancillary voice actors in this thing, besides like your main four. But their lines are very few, and far between.
I didn't have a problem with that. I thought it was it was economical, is the way I saw it. It was like, well, do we really need anybody new? Do we really need that many new characters? Do we really need that many new, elements to this plot that we already have? Like, it didn't seem like it needed anything else. They had the two, new characters. And one, yes, as you mentioned, is voiced by Chris Pratt. But the other one, Tiffany Haddish's character, is pretty great. And, I think that the new stuff works well enough that you didn't need more of it. I think that the story that they were telling is smaller in scale, I guess you could say. It doesn't need all the celebrity voices. And you still get those celebrity voices whenever, they visit, your Superman, or, your other kind of town characters.
Your DC characters, your town characters, your cameo characters.
Right. They don't need as many as they did the first time, because you're not establishing the world of Legos. The story is not about the entire world of Legos this time. The story is specifically about Emmett and his friends. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of glad that they did it that way, because you can't... one of the problems with movies these days, especially, big... not necessarily just action movies, but these kind of blockbuster movies, you can't have the world in peril every single time, because otherwise people stop caring.
Right.
So yeah, I think it was really smart for them to be like, no, let's focus in what would specifically Emmett's biggest fear be.
Losing his friends.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what happens.
And that's what's at risk. It's they focused in, and one of the things I thought that I was surprised that the movie tackled at all, that I thought they did really well, was kind of this rebuttal almost to the message of the first movie.
About growing up or not growing up?
Well, I mean, that's mostly new. What I'm referring to mostly is the end of that first movie was very of its time. Which was everybody, when we work together, it all works out and everything's great now.
Everything is awesome.
Everything turns out is awesome by the end of that movie, and this movie is clearly something written within the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And you can tell because the tone has changed. Where it's now, the movie felt like it was important to address the fact, no, it's great to be idealistic, but not when it's harmful. Let's tone it back a little bit. Let's refocus and be you can try, and you should still keep trying, but no, it's not always going to be awesome. And I think that's a really important message that I think it did pretty well. Like I said, I think there's a lot of strengths here, and I think that it does a lot of things really well. It's just, the problem is it has to follow the Lego movie.
Yeah. And
there's no changing that.
Well, they tried to change it by introducing some music, and a lot of music. I think this is a musical.
It's partially a musical. And the movie comments on that too.
Yeah.
It's not wall-to-wall music, although there are enough songs in it to make a soundtrack, which may be what they were going for. But yeah, the Tiffany Haddish character specifically breaks out to songs twice.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of which, it's almost part of this movie almost works as a follow-up to the Lego Batman movie in a weird way. They focus an awful lot on the Batman character, which I was not anticipating.
I wasn't looking forward to that as much, but yeah, Batman was a breakout character from the first Lego movie. In fact, so much that he had his own stand-up Lego film, and they actually comment on that happening. So I guess they are all interconnected then.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's in the same universe. I mean, there's a few really good jokes where they're like, "Oh yeah, like where's Batman? Oh, he went on his own standalone adventure." I thought that was cute. It's like, okay, so they're acknowledging the existence of this other movie in Lego canon, which is fun. And yeah, I feel like the stuff with Alfred that wasn't in the first one.
No.
So the fact that they brought in that dynamic is a direct reference to the Batman one. So, but yeah, I guess the other thing I should mention though is like the script is just as funny. Like, there's not as many great jokes, but there are enough good jokes peppered through the whole thing that you remember. Oh yeah, this is Lord Miller. Like you can tell.
You can tell.
Like the whole time.
They make really good funnies.
They make funnies.
They make funnies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that it follows the Lego movie.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard to talk about this thing, but I mean, it's an easy recommend at least.
Yeah, you can usually recommend this thing.
Like, it's not gonna blow your mind. This isn't gonna be.
Wow, you have to rush out to see this, but you will definitely enjoy your time watching it.
Yeah, and this is not gonna be
and watching the credits are fun too.
Right. Oh yeah, the credits are fun. But yeah, like this is not going to be a competitor for Best Animated Feature next year, like the first one probably should have been.
It should have been, yeah.
This is not that. This is not going to compete with the likes of stuff like Frozen 2, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not quite to that upper level, but it's fun. It's a fun night at the movies if you want to go see something funny and something that your kids will enjoy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would give it a go see it anyways, because I think that it's not a waste of money.
Well, other than that, there is no real family film out there right now.
Right.
So congratulations, Lego Movie, you just suck up all that money.
Yeah, pretty much. You have anything else to say about it before we move on?
No, I think we covered a lot of topics on it.
Yeah, there's probably more to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a good recommend. It's good to go see it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's move on then. Did you see any other movies before we keep trucking on into news?
Other movies? No, but the Mr. Rogers documentary, which was my best film of last year, Won't You Be My Neighbor, is currently available on HBO On Demand.
Cool.
So watch it if you can.
Okay. Good to know. I saw a movie.
You did?
I'll be brief, though, because you've already talked about it on the podcast.
What'd you see?
I saw current Best Picture favorite, Roma.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like it was my duty to do it since it was on Netflix, and it's free. And, well, not free, but you know what I mean.
Yes, it's readily available.
And, I probably should going into the Oscar predictions, which we're going to do. So, I'll check it out. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I think everything that you said a few weeks back when you talked about it is accurate. It's a director's movie. It's a cinematographer's movie. Mm-hmm. It's like those two things are stellar throughout. It's like the whole time I was just amazed at the kind of shots that they were setting up. Just Alfonso Cuarón's eye for what matters here in these scenes. Like, what am I focusing on? And just everything looks beautiful. The black and white cinematography is second to none. It's the acting is really, really good. I think that ultimately I think the lead actress will probably not win, but she does a stellar job.
Yeah.
I think the stuff towards the end of the film where she goes through some shit is kind of amazing that a person like is doing it. Like I kept having that, I don't know if this is how you are with some of these movies, but like, have you like that moment where you're like, man, how the hell did they set all of this up?
Oh no, I've had that while watching Roma because
yeah.
I'll notice the long takes. I'm like,
yes.
You have to set this up from way back there to figure out all the way up here.
Oh, even stuff as low key as we're gonna have this character drive into town.
Yeah.
They do enough stuff in the background and enough stuff where I'm like, okay, surely he had to have set all of this up and it had to be timed perfectly for this to work like it does. And somehow it just seems so effortless. Mm-hmm. It seems so fly on the wall when you know that it probably took forever to do. And it's just that kind of effortless filmmaking. He's got to win Best Director.
It's why
he has to.
He's favored for Best Director.
That thing is,
and Roma is favored for Best Picture since it's nominated.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, after seeing it, I agree with everything you had to say about it. I really, really enjoyed it. It's a hard thing to recommend, though, is what I'm finding.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people I talk to about it are like, that sounds boring. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a film schooly movie.
It is.
It's definitely
an Academy film.
Like when I was talking to someone about it, I literally dropped the term Italian neorealism, and they literally said, "What?" I'm like, sorry, I went to film school. But it's very that.
It is.
It's very in debt to your that kind of era of cinema for sure, and it does it really, really well. But yeah, anyways, let's move on.
Speaking of Roma and awards.
Yes. Well, before we move on to news, though, we have upcoming releases for this weekend.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we do not, because these films do not come out on Friday. They come out today. Today. These are Valentine's Day releases.
All right. Well, we still got to talk about them. So here they are. First up, if you want a horror movie, Happy Death Day to You is out.
Or you can save your money and watch Russian Doll on Netflix, which we'll talk about in TV.
I think those things are pretty different, actually.
They kind of are, but I think we'll talk about Russian Doll. But yeah, it's
I watched the pilot to that as well, so I can talk about it.
Okay, so Happy Death Day to You.
I have a feeling we're going to have differing opinions on that thing.
Maybe not. Happy Death Day to You is a sequel to Happy Death Day.
Yes.
To you.
But if you want to see something a little more closer to the holiday, Isn't It Romantic? That is the Rebel Wilson, I'm stuck in a romantic comedy, now what movie?
This is the cliche of all cliches where a girl hits her head and she's stuck in a romantic comedy.
The only thing is like I feel like this concept should have been done already. Like,
wasn't Valentine's Day this concept?
No, because it wasn't. Because this is very clearly like a being John Malkovich kind of like fourth wall breaking kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
This is not like Valentine's Day where it's like, no, these are just vignettes. This is a character who is living a normal life and normal for movie standards, and somehow ends up in a romantic comedy movie that is very clearly a cliche written film. And so like I feel like this should have happened 20 years ago. How did they not already make this movie? That's what blows my mind.
I think it's because someone read the script and was like, this is too cliche to be made.
Maybe. But if you want something completely different, so if you like your eyes and you like your eyes big, then I have a movie for you. Alita Battle Angel.
Alita: Battle Angel.
Yes, which is...
This is Lightstrom. This is...
freaking weird looking.
It
is
looks
James
weird.
Cameron directing this or producing this?
No, James Cameron is producing this.
Producing this, okay.
Mr. Rodriguez is directing this.
Mr.?
Yes.
Do you have a name?
The Spy Kids guy.
Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah, Mr. Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez. Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes, Robert Rodriguez.
Yes, Robert Rodriguez is directing this.
Yeah, this looks weird. This looks like nothing I ever want to see.
But it is from Lightstrom, so it is the same studio that brought you Avatar.
Sure.
As if the trailers did not give that away.
I know. They really made that clear.
Oh, they really made that clear.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this thing.
The first trailer that came out for this film had huge eyes, and then James Cameron basically went in and dialed them back. Saying,
they still look too big.
And they still look big.
They still look too big. I'm sorry.
Yes. But this will star Academy Award winning or upcoming Academy Award winner, Mahershala Ali.
We'll see.
Oh, he's gonna win.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody wants to see this movie, but it's not. They're not in this room. Let's move on. Now,
I'm curious about that film. Yeah. I don't know if I'm like $14 curious.
Yeah, I don't want to see any.
I may be $6 curious to watch it.
Maybe $6, but yeah, no, I don't want to see any of these movies. Right. To be honest. All right, let's move on to news. As you mentioned, our first story does involve Roma because we're taking a trip to England, jolly old England, to talk about the BAFTAs.
Yes, where Bradley Cooper was present and not Lady Gaga.
Exactly. The BAFTAs are the UK's equivalent to the Oscars. They're the closest, I guess, analog you could say.
Yes.
Yeah, some movies won some stuff. Roma won big. Won Best Film and Foreign Language Film and Director and Cinematography. It did the quadruple hat trick. Won them all.
Yep.
So, cool.
So that just adds to Roma's trophy shelf, if they had a trophy shelf.
And it makes it continues to make it the favorite for Best Picture.
Yes, which we're going to talk about a lot.
Yes.
When the Academy... I guess next week. We have to make our predictions next week then.
Yeah, we'll have to do our prediction podcast next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll figure that out. Then also, in winners, The Favourite won 7 awards, including Best British Film, Original Screenplay, and both Actress Awards. So,
yes, for Olivia Colman for Best Actress and Rachel Weisz for supporting.
Yes, so the actress showed up for that one.
Yep. That actually, those actress noms and wins fall in line with pretty much everything else that's been been awarded.
Rami Malek won for Bohemian Rhapsody, and Mahershala Ali won for supporting for Green Book.
Those are also favorites to win.
And Star is Born won for Original Music, which is its own category, I guess, at the BAFTAs.
They don't do song, they just do music.
And Letitia Wright won the Rising Star Award.
Letitia Wright of upcoming Us. Also, she was in Black Panther.
Yeah. So, yeah.
She was Shuri.
Right.
By the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, like you said, kind of just further proof that these are your favorites. Like, these are the ones to beat. The only slight place that this differs is in the female actress categories, because the favorites have not been the favorites in this category.
Right, that has been Glenn Close.
Glenn Close, who probably was not nominated in these awards.
Probably not.
If I had to guess. So yeah, we'll see. We'll be keeping an eye on those, for sure.
Yep. And Spider-Man continued its win in animated category.
As it is well deserved. Yeah, that was another thing I was going to say about Lego. It's also unfortunate that this has to follow Spider-Man as a major animated release, because it's in a different league.
It is.
It's hard a hard act to follow that movie, because that movie is insane. Okay.
Well, speaking of stuff that's insane.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. The sequel to the long delayed sequel, I guess you could say, to World War Z.
Yes, over there at the Paramount lot.
Can now be laid to rest. Paramount's officially pulling the plug. Goodbye, World War Z 2.
So, are they putting they're not Walking Dead it?
No, yeah, it's dead, but it's not
walking. It's dead, but it's not walking.
The film budget was a major source of issue, as director David Fincher was looking for less than $200 million, but Paramount just greenlit Mission Impossible 7 and 8.
As we reported last week.
So much for that.
That $200 million figure comes from the budget of the first World War Z movie.
Right.
Which I guess I can now say the only World War Z movie?
Yes, the only World War Z movie. Producer and star Brad Pitt brought Fincher on back in 2016 and had a script from Utopia series creator Dennis Kelly. First film was released back in 2013, and while the sequel was originally planned for 2016, it was then moved to summer 2019, and then now is officially cut. So, fans of the first movie? Do they exist?
Fans of the book, I guess you want to go with? I think that's what you're looking for?
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares at this point.
Yeah.
I think this is smart. I think the zombie movie rush probably ended around the time that this movie was supposed to come out.
The fact that The Walking Dead's ratings have dropped significantly even since 2013.
It's just not a good time for a zombie movie. I don't think we care anymore. It was very much like zombie fiction was very like popular back when we were doing okay. Now the world is a zombie like movie in a lot of ways, so no one wants to see that on a movie theater. But anyways, those are your news stories this week.
Well, there's one last one in our thoughts here. Frozen 2 trailer came out today.
We should talk about that. That hit today, so we didn't plan ahead of time. It's a teaser trailer. It's very brief. It doesn't say a whole lot about what this movie is going to be about, but it definitely looks like it's more action focused than the first one.
They definitely took a lot of water physics from Moana, that's for sure.
That's true too. So essentially, you have Elsa looking like she's trying to either traverse over water or maybe conquer a fear of water by using her ice powers against the waves.
Or just trying to strengthen her power.
Yeah, or something like that. Then you also have clips of Anna having her own kind of adventure, climbing things, fighting things.
And a bunch of reindeer and Olaf's there.
And then it seems like there's an overall theme of autumn, as that there was a lot of fall leaves and a lot of that kind of color. Like a lot of the browns and the oranges you associate with fall. So
they're working backwards in time here.
Yeah, I have no idea what this movie is about, but it's compelling what they've shown so far. Anna does this badass thing with the sword at the end, and I'm like, what is happening? What is this movie?
I don't know, but it definitely wasn't in Kingdom Hearts.
No, but it looked like it could have been. Like it's just completely different vibe than the first one.
Yes.
So I don't know what they're gonna do with that thing, but color me interested.
I believe they're just gonna make a lot of money with that thing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Disney itself is gonna make a ton of money this year.
Yeah.
They have Frozen 2, Avengers Endgame, Star Wars.
Yeah.
2 other Marvel films.
They're chock full.
Oh, and by the way, there's 3 Disney remakes coming out.
Yeah, there's a big, big thing. I guess here's also where we should briefly mention.
Oh, don't forget Toy Story 4.
That too. But we should briefly mention before we move on to television about that Aladdin commercial.
So they showed the genie.
They showed the genie.
And the internet went crazy.
The Will Smith genie looks exactly like you think he would.
Except the internet doesn't like it.
Except apparently the internet doesn't care because they think it looks weird. I think it looks fine.
It's fine.
It's if Will Smith was a blue genie.
Yeah.
That's what they gave you, and that's what it is.
Well, put it this way. If they just put Will Smith in the genie outfit, they could say he's the genie, but then everyone will be like, no, he's not the genie's blue. So they gave him blue genie. And the internet is like, no, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. There's a blue genie. Yeah, I don't know. It looks fine. I don't know how I feel about the Aladdin movie. At least it seems like with costumes and like kind of set accoutrement, it looks like they're at least trying to be a little bit more authentic to the culture that they're representing, which is good. It's not like they just took the designs from the animated film and just put them live action. Instead, it looks like they're actually being like, what would an Indian princess have looked like in this era? And that they replicate that.
So they're not just going to Beauty and the Beast this thing by making it shot for shot?
No, and that's probably a good thing because that's a lot harder when you're dealing with something so specific that's not necessarily based on a fairy tale in the same way. Mm-hmm. That this is something that's like, no, these are is a real culture we're trying to present here.
If anything, this actually gives me more hope for the Mulan action film.
Yeah. I mean, if they pull this out, then Mulan. I thought Mulan was supposed to happen before all this.
No.
That was my
idea. It got pushed. They swapped them.
Yeah, and they swapped them.
Yeah.
Weird. Anything else in Movieville before we move on to television?
As we mentioned, the Academy Awards are 2 weeks away.
Yes, we will. Like I said, we will be doing a separate podcast for our predictions. So look forward to that in the coming weeks. Next up, television.
I have one last thought. Okay. I got to pull up the actual figures here, but I was looking up figures for, because we're at the end of January. What are the top films of the year so far?
Uh-huh.
Well, to my surprise, they are, in terms of worldwide, number 1 is Glass.
Yeah.
That thing has made monster money.
Yeah.
Number 2, Escape Room.
Huh. Okay.
If you thought that was weird, number 3 is Dragon Ball Z film, Broly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Number 4 is The Upside. And number 5 is a film that's yet to be released in the U.S.
Okay.
It just got its release this past weekend. It is already the 5th highest grossing film of the year worldwide. And that is How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Oh, okay.
Which pulled in $85 million.
You mean 3?
3, yes.
You said 2.
Well, I mean also.
How to Train Your Dragon TOO.
Yes. How to Train Your Dragon 3 made $85 million overseas this past weekend.
And it's not even out yet.
And it's not even out in the U.S., but that makes it number 5 worldwide.
Wow. Okay.
So far.
Weird list, but okay.
What's weird is that Dragon Ball made over $100 million.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Alright. I thought that was a fun little tidbit.
Yeah. Let's finally move on to television.
Alright, let's move on to television.
We spent like a year on movies.
Yeah.
We always start television with sports, and brief sports week. Kind of a small week, seeing as the biggest sports moment happened last time.
But the biggest moment for racing fans is about to happen.
Yes, but before that, it's the NBA All-Star Week.
Yes, it is currently the NBA All-Star Week. Tomorrow, we get the NBA All-Star Game on Valentine's Day. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not that excited about it.
But you also get like the fun stuff like the dunk.
We get that's actually tonight. You get the dunk contest tonight and the 3-point skills champion, the 3-point shooting.
Is that happening?
And then the skills.
Is that happening right now?
It's happening right now, I think.
We should swap over that.
Okay. I believe that's happening today.
It'd be more fun to watch. But yeah, you also have something down here called AAF.
Yes. There is so look out, NFL. There's a new football on the block.
Okay, what is this?
This is the AAF.
Athletic as fuck.
Sure.
Is that what it stands for?
It's athletic football.
athletic ass football. Got it.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. So what is the AAF?
This is football on steroids in fast pace. So a normal football game, you get about 11 minutes of total. It's also not as good because it's not that refined. Also, you're playing with like a bunch of sub players. Or not sub players, but subpar, not NFL worthy players.
Sure.
It's fine. It's going to run for now, but it's also going to be competing next year with the XFL, as we previously announced.
Right, but at least 25% less racist.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's something. Anything else in sports before we move on? You mentioned something about racing?
Yes. On Sunday, NASCAR season begins with Daytona.
Yep. Okay.
Also, the All-Star Weekend is this weekend. I got that mixed up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's not right now.
It's not right now.
Well, how dare you? Okay, let's move on then. I
knew it was this weekend. I knew it was close.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Television
We'll see an
news.
ad for it or something.
It's time to talk about TV.
Okay.
Some stuff happened in TV. First up, though. Hey, do you like Goop?
Like in my hair?
I mean, just in general. Just anywhere. Do you like any kind of Goop?
Goop is not a good sounding name for anything.
No, I also agree with that sentiment. However, Gwyneth Paltrow loves Goop. She loves Goop so much, she named her empire of, I guess, fashion and life advice and like...
Pseudo life advice.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest here.
Called that. Like, I guess it's a website. I don't know. Most of this is new to me. I didn't know about this until about probably 5 to 6 months ago.
I knew about this about 4 years ago.
Jeez, wow.
That's only because...
We're on the Goop ground floor.
No. I knew about this because Chris Martin wouldn't stop talking about it.
Oh, right, because they were a thing.
Yes, this is back when they were a thing.
Yeah, Goop is, of course, the Gwyneth Paltrow website, and they are partnering with Netflix to develop a new docuseries that will be released this fall. Yeah, a Goop series. The show will consist of 30-minute episodes hosted by Paltrow, and they will utilize experts, doctors, and researchers to examine issues around mental, physical, and sexual health.
Or, health. Or science.
Depending on who you talk to, the stuff in Goop is either, oh, it's so cool, or it's super weird and sketchy.
It's either, this is very trendy, you should do this, and trust me, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm a mom.
But yeah, so it seems like some of the stuff is sketchy and may not actually help you at all.
Yeah, but what's actually kind of sketchy is how much Goop's actually worth.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is Goop raised $50 million in funding last March and is currently valued at $250 million. But that's not all. The company has also entered an exclusive deal with Delta Airlines where you can stream 8 episodes of their podcast for free on Delta planes.
Yes, the podcast will feature Gwyneth Paltrow herself.
Yes.
And the COO of Goop.
Wait, who's the COO of Goop?
That's their only title. There's not no one name worthy.
It's not important. Not important. We would recognize.
No.
All right.
It just said the COO.
The COO.
That's why I didn't put it down because it didn't seem important.
The Goop coup.
Yeah, but Netflix buying or making deals. As we know, they're going to get rid of, or not on their own accord, but most of their licensing deals will expire within the next couple years.
Okay.
So this is just them trying to edit out their niche of
Goop users.
I don't want to say Goop users, just of
Goops.
Interesting content.
Sure.
It's a unique deal if you're interested in that kind of thing.
If you like Goop,
yeah,
here's where you go.
To Netflix.
Yep. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
We've been talking a lot about the Academy Awards.
Yes.
Here's a little bit of news, more news, I guess, going into the telecast here. In addition to all the songs being performed, the aforementioned Best Song nominees, I should say.
Yes.
Being performed for only 90 seconds.
Yes, we mentioned that last week.
Well, guess what? There are going to be what they threatened there was going to be 4 awards that are on the chopping block.
Well, okay, chopping block from the broadcast.
Yeah, so they will be displayed, I guess you could say, on television, but during the commercial breaks. The 4 awards, unfortunately, that have been relegated to side of your screen status are cinematography, film editing, live action short film, and makeup and hairstyling.
So cinematography is a big one.
I would
say
say
film editing.
So is editing. Those are 2 really rough ones.
Yes.
We, however, kind of saw at least one of these coming. We had said
the shorts.
Shorts were going to hit.
Yes.
Like shorts. My prediction was shorts and docs were going to be hit first.
Right. I think we all said hairstyling and makeup.
I didn't, but I could see why somebody would
as
make
much
that
as we
argument.
like it, there's usually only like 3 films nominated for it.
To be honest, I'd rather see hair and makeup though than the one Oscar that has always defied my full understanding, which is production design.
Okay.
I have like a vague idea of what it's about, but it still seems like such a huge amorphous category.
It is.
That it drives me crazy that they even have it. Like, well, no, pick a thing. Like all of these things. Like you could even argue that like makeup and hairstyling are part of the production design. Like, I don't know. It's just such a weird category to me. I would almost want to see it swapped here with makeup and hairstyling. Because at least that's something specific you can, like, have a grasp on. Be like, oh, the makeup and hair was really good in this movie. Not like production design, which is so subjective.
It is, because it's everything in the background. It's how the world is built out.
It's like, who's to say that this, like, period piece that's set in, like, Victorian England has better production design than this sci-fi movie set on a spaceship. You know, it's like stuff like that. It drives me crazy. It's like you can't.
Well, Black Panther's gonna win production design.
Maybe we'll see. That's possible. But we'll
Yeah.
see. But yeah, I don't know. This sucks. Yeah,
it does.
I mean, it sucks, especially for cinematography and editing, like you said. They're so key in the filmmaking process that to relegate them to not even let you see thank you speeches is messed up.
Well, you won't see thank you speeches, but they'll be available.
Yeah, it says the winning speeches for these categories will be aired later in the broadcast and streamed live online via Oscar.com. So, this is also kind of sucky, because does that mean I have to have my laptop open while I'm watching the show, which is something I probably now have to do, so I can see these things happen in real life? It's like, I don't know.
This is a part of the Oscar telecast trying to bring it down to 3 hours and a relegated time limit.
Well, let me tell you, we'll talk about this in music, but let me tell you about a different award show that went way longer than 3 hours. We'll talk about the Grammys in the music category.
Yes.
That sucks, but yeah, if you want to watch, and we will be watching, it's on, the Academy Awards are on Sunday, February 24th on ABC.
Yep, 2 weeks. We've said it about 3 or 4 times now, but we'll have our Oscar predictions next week.
Podcast out by then, so you'll be able to see what we think are the winners and see how right or how very wrong we are.
To put it into perspective, we hit 24 of 25 last year.
And I think that we will do, if not the same, maybe better this year. I think we have a pretty firm grasp on the winners this year, unless something terrifying happens.
Yep.
But we'll see. All right, that is it for television news, which means it's time to talk about television we watched.
All right.
And we both watched the same thing for once.
Yes, it was the season finale of MasterChef.
No.
Sorry, of Hell's Kitchen.
No, I didn't watch that. But,
that did happen.
Okay.
The vet beat the rookie because of course she did.
Of course she did.
And she now runs Hell's Kitchen in Vegas.
Cool.
By the way, there's a Hell's Kitchen in Vegas.
Hell's Kitchen in Vegas.
And I kind of want to go.
Okay. But the other thing that we watched.
Oh, yes.
It's time to talk about Russian Doll.
Yes.
So how much of this did you watch before we start?
I've seen exactly half of it.
So you watched about 5 episodes of 10?
4 episodes.
4 episodes of the
There's 8 episodes. Right. I've watched 4. There are 8 episodes you've watched.
No.
What?
I've only watched 1.
Okay, you've only watched 1.
I only watched the pilot.
Okay.
And I'm going to withhold. I want to see what you think about this thing.
Okay. So, whenever I watch something like this on Netflix, the first question I ask myself, why does this have to be 8 episodes? Why can't this thing be a movie?
Yeah.
It's the exact reason why I do not like Stranger Things.
Uh-huh.
That thing can easily be 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it could have.
Except they somehow stretch it to 10 hours, and nothing needs to be 10 hours. Like, it just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not that much story that you have to tell. So, watching Russian Doll, I got that exact feeling in 2 episodes in. Like, this thing's just repeating itself. Where's my twist? What is happening? And this doesn't need to be 8 episodes.
To be fair, the concept of the show is built around repeating itself.
I know. But if it's going to keep repeating itself and not give you a ton of information, leak it out bit by bit, I don't want to slog through it. But it does a good twist in the 3rd episode.
Okay, that's good.
A good twist I didn't see coming. And it actually propelled me to continue watching the 4th episode.
So let's really briefly say what this is. So this is...
This is Happy Death Day to you.
Kind of.
This is Groundhog's Day.
Not exactly.
This is Looper.
Different from both of those things.
Back to the Future.
It involves a lot of the same kind of things, but it's different. So Natasha Lyonne's character dies.
On her birthday.
And
that says Happy Death Day
immediately returns back to where we first saw her at the beginning of the episode, except weirdly aware that she has lived all of this before. She's basically having deja vu that all the things that she's going through have happened before and that she died. She figures out essentially that she has died, and then things get presumably weirder from there.
Yes. She realizes that she's died and then accepts that and doesn't figure out why she keeps dying. She just wants to continue to the next day.
But she can't? Or is that where the twist is?
Oh, that's where the twist is.
Okay. Well, don't spoil the twist. But yeah, like that's kind of what we're dealing with here. It's like it's a show that is the hook. If that does not sound interesting, do not watch the show.
Yes.
That is its trick.
Yes. Like I said, if you watched Happy Death Day and you enjoy that kind of thing where you die, you wake up at a specific point, an arbitrary point. I've yet to figure out why this is the exact point.
Yeah, the show, to your point that you watched it to, has not revealed whether the significance of that location or not.
No, it has not.
Okay.
Most times that does not actually occur.
Yeah.
For most of it's when you wake up, which is what happens in Groundhog Day. What happens in you wake up at 6 o'clock,
right,
and you hear Sonny and Cher. In Happy Death Day, you wake up in the bed, but because it's your birthday. But so far, I have not reached that point of why this specifically happens to put her back at this exact point in time.
Right.
I think it's kind of weird and arbitrary, but it does. But at least from a narrative's perspective, it is a good launching point into at least the first time, so you get to see about everything that happens. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm gonna watch the end of this, and then we'll.
So you're gonna see it through. You liked it. You're liking it enough that you're gonna see it through.
The twist got me to want to see what else happened. If it wasn't for that, I would have turned it off after the third episode.
Yeah, because that's my question about this. Is like, how are you liking the tone of it, the characters, the writing?
I kind of enjoy the writing.
Okay.
It's fast paced. I forgot what it reminded me of though.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of it's fast paced. It's snappy dialogue. Everything moves, which I like. Nothing just sits and is explained to you. Everything constantly happens, and there's enough stuff happening to make you continue watching.
Well, you would think that.
But you only watched one episode.
So, here's my feelings about it. So, yeah, I only watched the pilot because that's about all I could stand to watch.
Okay.
I didn't like the tone of it. I did not like the writing at all. Something about dialogue like that, where it's like you can tell that the writers are like, hey, check out how smart we are, drives me crazy. And, that's the vibe I got from everything in that first episode, which was just like, we're going to overwrite all of these characters so that you know that we think that these people are smart. We're trying to... They really want you to believe that the Natasha Lyonne character is, the smartest person in the room. She's always got, one step ahead of everybody else. She always knows what to say. Even to the point where she very, very quickly and unrealistically figures out the premise of the show after the first death. I was like, she could not have connected all of these dots. Usually if somebody has deja vu, they don't overthink about it and be like, did I die? No. If somebody has deja vu in real life, you know what they do?
They shrug
3 seconds later, they shrug it off and think, oh, no, now it's normal. Because that's how deja vu really works.
Yeah.
It's I understand that this is a fictional, mystical world that it's setting up. But I just couldn't. When the show's tone is supposed to be so dark and realistic, I can't get my lower my disbelief to that point that they need me to buy the premise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just have a problem with the tone fighting with the hook like this, and I didn't think the jokes were funny enough to really glom onto. There were maybe 3 or 4 times where I was like, okay, that's funny, but it's very much not a comedy, which is something that I was not anticipating. The trailer for that thing, which I have to admit, got me interested enough to try it out. Okay. I thought that the little Netflix trailer that it played was like, oh, okay, this looks really good. I'm going to watch this. But it's not at all tonally representative of what that thing actually is.
Juno. That's what it reminded me of.
Except not really, though, because
no.
With Diablo Cody's script in Juno, she has a little bit more of a lighter hand with it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but in a different way. like the stuff with Juno and what I appreciated about that movie over 10 years ago now was that it was overwritten, but in a charming kind of quirky way. This is overwritten in a gross kind of way. At least, again, personally, to me.
Well, like I said, this goes back to my statement of why couldn't this have been 2.5 hours?
If this was a movie, I would feel a little better about it.
Well, because even though I'm halfway through, I still feel like this could have been a movie. It hasn't hit that, this needs to be a show. This needs to be 8 hours long.
And instead, it just feels like it's trying so hard to be a prestige show that they're trying to write it like a prestige show. Instead of just writing what would this character what would a character in this situation actually do and say?
Look, it feels like I've written these 4 episodes.
Yeah.
But Netflix given me 8.
Yeah.
So I need to fill 4 episodes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's made me kind of consider the kind of movie. Wow, Freudian slip there. What kind of television I actually want to be watching right now, and I had this moment where maybe I just don't want to watch dramedies right now. I think I'm at a point in my life where if I want to watch something relatively dramatic, it either has to be super over the top where I can laugh at it, or it has to be so well done, it's a movie and it's called Roma.
Yeah.
I just can't do this middle ground anymore.
Right.
And if I want to laugh at something, there's better comedies out there. So I don't know. I didn't feel like it was something that I could really get into, and so I stopped. But yeah, I guess let me know how it turns out.
I'll tell you. Okay. I mean, it got Doctor intrigued into it.
Okay.
But yeah, we stopped halfway through.
Yeah, I know people who have gotten way into it, but I don't know.
All right. Well, that's enough talking about.
Not my piece of pie.
I kind of figured.
Yeah. Which again, it sucks because I thought I was going to like it.
Well, it's a female lead actress who's ball busting.
And I love Natasha Lyonne. I like her, and it's executive produced by Amy Poehler. It's it's got all these pieces of something that I thought I was going to like.
Right.
And I just could not get anything to grab onto. Anyways.
Speaking of stuff to grab onto,
yes.
Broad City is actually good this season.
I heard this is a good season, but I have a lot of catch up to do. So and a bunch of other television to watch. So maybe I'll catch up by the time this season's over.
All right.
We'll see. Okay.
Well, speaking of seasons being over.
Yes, it's time for cancellations and renewals. We start with the renewals on Hulu. Hulu has renewed Light as a Feather for a second season. I didn't even know what this was.
It's on Hulu. You don't even know what it is.
Fair enough. Freeform pulled double. Good Trouble coming back for a second season. And Grownish coming back for a third season. The Good Doctor over on ABC gets a third season. Are you happy?
I'm watching it. Okay.
Million Little Things, though, also gets a second season.
Not watching
it's renewed. That gets a second season. And we know how you felt about that. Shark Tank keeps swimming. 11 seasons on ABC.
How much money have they made off those Shark Tank ideas?
I think a lot by now. Bachelor in Paradise gets a 6th season.
Yes.
It's, I guess, now fully recovered from that sexual assault scandal that happened a couple of years ago. Remember that?
Nope. And that's why it's back.
Yep. Fair enough. Yikes. Dancing with the Stars, also back. 14th season on ABC. Modern Family will be back, of course, for 11th season, but that will be its last. That's it.
Yep.
Modern Family will finally end.
Yep. They've given it one final season to wrap up whatever storyline they're in.
I don't think that's a show that relies on storylines, though, so...
Nope, it doesn't.
So, yeah, it'll just be another season of hijinks.
Yep.
But, yeah, I think 11 seasons, that show is probably well past its peak at this point. Then Mom, over on CBS, will get 2 more seasons to add to its total, so that will be a 7th and an 8th season on CBS. Also, in case you were wondering about the fate of another long-running show, well, wonder no more, The Simpsons
Yes. Would it wrap up after a clean 30 years?
We thought it was going to be done after 30, which would have made sense. But no, because Fox has officially greenlit 2 more seasons, bringing it to 31 and 32. So we will have 32 seasons of The Simpsons.
You know what that means?
It's got to be it, right?
No, it means that they've somehow found money to pay these voice actors.
That's insane.
Also, this now makes it Disney's problem.
Right, I guess, technically, yes. This will be a Disney franchise by the time this happens. That's crazy. So we'll see what this, like, what it will mean to have a 30-second season of a television show. Woof. Meanwhile, across the pond, the BBC has renewed a couple of its nature shows. Planet Earth coming back for season 3.
Yay!
But not until 2022.
Aw. Well, it makes sense. They just had Planet Earth 2.
Right. Meanwhile, Frozen Planet, the kind of
the mid spin-off they do
thing, will be back in 2021 for a second season.
And we may actually have a Frozen Planet by then. Who knows?
Yeah, probably. That's it for cancellations and renewals. Our only death this week, just one. Albert Finney, age 82, who was a British actor. You don't have any of his roles here. He sounds familiar.
Yes, he definitely... Yes, yeah. That's why I put him on there. I forgot to look him up.
Well, good job.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, now this is the part of the show where I hand it off because it's time to talk about music.
Yes, and we get to talk about... Well, before we talk about the Grammys, we've got to talk about some billboards.
Yes, the Billboard charts. They're kind of like the Grammys that happen every week.
Yeah. So, who's claiming the top spot this week? Oh, no, I'm asking myself that. Who's claiming the top spot this week?
Okay.
In the Hot 100, the singles chart, we have 7 Rings by Ariana Grande.
That's his 3rd week at number 1.
Number 2 is Returning. Wow. 2.
Yes.
Is Happier by Marshmello and Bastille.
Yeah, rose up the ranks. The Theory.
I think this is the...
is
the
due
Fortnite?
to the Fortnite stream in which Marshmello was seen on there. I don't know if Twitch streams count into the Billboard.
It's a digital
charts,
stream,
but I guess it made enough people think about Marshmello this week that it affected the charts.
All right, number 3 is Without Me by Halsey, doing the SNL this past weekend.
Yes.
Number 4,
SNL.
The SNL.
The S and L.
Yes. 4 is Sunflower, Post Malone and Sway Lee.
Yep.
And 5, Sicko Mode by Travis Scott.
Back up, probably following the Super Bowl performance.
Yeah. As for your albums list, Billboard 200. Back at number 1 is Hoodie Season.
Yeah, I don't know why this came back.
With the boogie with the hoodie.
There's no
reason.
like societal reason why this would have happened.
No.
But here we are.
Number 2 is I Am Greater Than I Was by 21 Savage. Number 3 is Future Hendrix presents The Wizard by Future. 4 is Astroworld by Travis Scott.
Yep.
And 5 is A Star Is Born, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper and various artists.
So yeah, just another week where stuff just mixes around. No surprises here.
No. What is surprising is your new releases.
All right, what am I listening to this week?
I don't know what you're listening to, but here's what's out.
There, we did it finally! All right, what do we got?
First up, we have a song from Canada, an album from Canada.
Oh, okay.
Avril Lavigne.
Hey!
With Head Above Water. She came out with a new single last year. Wow, it's already been last year.
Yeah.
It was decent.
Well, we all know that this is not really Avril Lavigne.
Well, what do you mean?
This is the artist that refers to themselves as Avril Lavigne.
Avril
Avril Lavigne died, didn't you see?
Oh, you're one of those people. Anyways, we also have Betty Who with Betty. Chaka Khan. Yes, that's Chaka Khan.
Chaka Khan.
With Hello Happiness.
Oh, right.
We also have Czarface and Ghostface Killah. With aptly titled Czarface meets Ghostface.
Well, hey, that makes sense.
We also have Florida Georgia Line. Yes, that country song, a country duo, with Can't Say I Ain't Country.
That is a title.
That is okay, that tells me you're a country album.
Can't say they ain't.
Can't say they ain't. And lastly, we have Lady Iron with Lady Iron.
Sure. I think that's Lady Tron.
Yes, Lady Iron with Lady Tron.
No,
it's Lady Tron with Lady Tron.
Third time's a charm. All right, cool. So those are your new releases.
Yes, and now we get to talk about the Grammys.
All right, let's talk about the Grammys.
First off,
I wrote this because everything I found for news stories was just like way too broad. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna write my experience watching this thing. So
okay. So you experienced Album of the Year to Kacey Musgraves.
Yes.
Well deserved.
This was the big surprise of the night, if you ask me, because
she won one other award. Well, no. So she won 5 awards out of the
She won
night.
a lot, yes. She won 5 Grammys, which is crazy. But yeah, this was the one that mattered. Like, I think everybody was surprised, but I was pleasantly surprised. I got called this, but I was the only one who was calling it. So I felt like for sure I was going to be disappointed.
No, I was also calling this from a different area code.
Right. But yeah, it was like, it was surprising and well-deserved.
Yes. We have our own thoughts about it, and basically we praised the hell out of it.
Yes, you can see, in fact, our thoughts about Kacey Musgraves' Golden Hour on MediaBookPodcast.com.
Yes, you could say it is our Album of the Year.
Yes, you could say that, because it was.
Because it was. But what didn't make any of our lists, but yeah, well-deserved Kacey Musgraves. Yeah. It's, as we called it, a perfect album, if there is such one.
Yeah. But it's up there.
It's up there.
Who else won?
The other big winner was Childish Gambino, who was not there.
Right.
He won for Record and Song of the Year for This Is America.
This one surprised me because these are not usually the same song. Record of the Year is given to the
artist. No, producer.
Producers.
The producer, and Song of the Year is the...
Ostensibly, it's supposed to be the production of a song wins record, and the writing of a song wins song.
Yes.
But in this case, the same song won both, which is weird to me.
Yep.
But here we are.
R&B album went to Her, H-E-R, not her over there, Her.
Right.
Who was pleasantly shocked, even though like her album was on a bunch of top 10s everywhere.
Actually, I didn't see anything about this until the Grammy nominations came out, so I didn't know.
I mean, it is also like your first big Grammy win, so it's like I think she was like overly shocked though when she won. There is such a thing.
Yeah,
but you know, you're also you also win one.
Right.
It's rap album went to Cardi B.
This was good. This was a good surprise because she basically, in a year that was stacked with dudes, Cardi ended up taking it, and was equally astonished, kind of in the same way that Her was, and it created probably my favorite quote of the entire night, where she's struck by nerves and she's trying to like figure out what to say, and she was like, "Man, I guess I should really start smoking weed, huh?" Which was funny.
And Best New Artist went to Dua Lipa.
Yeah, this was another surprise.
Yeah, but as with the Grammys, there are a lot of performances.
Right.
And maybe too many performances?
Yeah, the show went long, and that is because, yes, there were a lot of performances, a lot of different kinds of things.
Yes. So, Jennifer Lopez did a tribute to Motown?
Yeah, I have a question mark here after Jennifer Lopez because weird choice.
Yeah.
To have in your Motown tribute, but questionable choice of race notwithstanding. It was an entertaining performance.
It was. Yeah. I did wonder though why they had a basically show-stopping Motown performance
in the middle of the show.
Well, no, not just that, but then a half hour later, have the second show-stopping performance by what was her name? 70th birthday.
Are you thinking of the Diana
Ross? Yeah.
Yeah, the Diana Ross stuff.
Because you didn't have it right down here.
It did seem weird. But yeah, because it wasn't one of my personal highlights.
No, I didn't think it was. I didn't think it needed to be there.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird choices this year.
Yeah.
They made some choices.
Yeah. Anyways, Casey Musgraves performed Rainbow, and it was beautiful.
Yes, that was great.
She put alongside Dolly Parton.
Yes, also with
Janelle Monáe and Brandy Carlisle. In a different performance.
Yeah, I should say.
Yes.
But yeah, those were kind of the good ones, and then there were some stinkers.
Yeah, the opener, Havana na 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 na, and then Post Malone and Red Hot Chili Peppers, which I walked out of the room for.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you. That was kind of painful. But yeah, overall, I mean, I was kind of talking to you briefly about this off the podcast. My overall feeling about this year was opposite of last year. Yeah. Last year, we went in thinking like, oh man, the nominations are actually really good. Like there's good winners could come out of this thing. And then the actual show, frickin' boring. This year, reversed that. The nominations looked really terrible, and I was gearing myself up to hate it. And then I actually watched it, and you know what? There was enough entertaining stuff and enough surprises where I was like, yeah, okay, this was not a waste of my time.
You know, normally when I watch the Grammys and they say who the best album is, I'm like, you're going to learn, like, really? Yeah. That's who you pick?
Right.
I guess because I actually listened to the album prior to it, I wasn't as either shocked or either more shocked. I don't know if it's easy to be both. But, like, I knew that's what should have won, and then the fact that it did win kind of, like, made me appreciate the win more, rather than just having, like, say, Janelle Monáe win. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know the Academy, like, the recording artists love you, and good that you win, but then I don't really feel anything from it.
Yeah, and to be fair, Casey Musgraves is a Grammy favorite. That has already been established. The difference is that this year, it's easier to be like, yeah, no, that actually makes sense this time.
You're right.
Like, not only did they pick a predictable winner, but it was the right predictable winner. Because, yeah, I liked Janelle Monáe's album as well last year, but it was not as good as Golden Hour.
Right.
Like, so I'm glad that the right one won. And I'm glad we're not sitting here like last year wondering why Bruno Mars, or I guess this year's equivalent would have been Post Malone, won in a sea of competition. So,
right.
So yeah, overall, pretty solid year. Even though the Grammys still have a lot to work on with categories and winners and everything, it was a step in the right direction, I think, for this year's show.
Yeah. It was an entertaining show.
It was. It was entertaining. It was fun to watch, which I did not expect.
But I think we do need to talk about the elephant in the room. That was Alicia Keys hosting.
She was weird. She had a weird vibe to that whole thing.
She played it really fast and loose. And by loose, I mean we'd come back from commercial and she'd be talking to the audience or doing something else.
And I don't know how much that is Alicia or how much of that is the direction. Because the direction was really terrible. Like, there was a lot of moments where it was just like, wait, what? Why is somebody, like, why are we cutting to this? Or why is this cameraman clearly running into things on the stage trying to do this tracking shot? And it was just, like, really awful throughout.
Well, there was one part where Childish Gambino won.
Yeah.
But because they didn't know that he was gonna win.
Oh yeah.
They had the really awkward moment of
following
Alicia Keys to the standing point.
Because there was no cut.
Yeah.
She was expecting a cut. Yeah. It's just some weird direction choices. Something was happening up in the booth through that whole thing, I guess. Anyways. Alright, let's move on. There's more in music this week, not just the Grammys.
I know. So we have a follow-up.
Yes, this is a follow-up story.
To 21 Savage. 21 Savage.
Yes.
Alright, so rapper 21 Savage, who was arrested earlier this month by ICE due to visa violations, was released on bond yesterday pending a deportation hearing. In a statement, attorneys Charles H. Cuck, great name, and Tina Lapolte, also a great name, and Alex Spiro, probably the best name there, said on the rapper's behalf, quote, for the past 9 long days, we, on behalf of Shia bin Abraham Joseph, or, 21 Savage, you could just say.
That's his name.
Have been speaking with ICE on both clarify his actual legal standing, his eligibility for bond, and provide evidence of his extraordinary contributions to his community and society. In the last 24 hours, in the wake of the Grammy Awards, at which he was scheduled to attend and perform, we received notice that Shia, or 21 Savage, was granted an expedited hearing. And as of today, 21 Savage was granted a release on bond. So he won his freedom?
So yeah, he's out. This was weird, and I included this quote because I wanted to see if you could make sense of it. Like, I'm not 100% sure exactly how or what expedited his case. I don't know if this is just all a big, like, hint, hint, there was some money involved or what. I don't know what was happening. Either somebody, like, dropped a crap load of money and then just made this happen, or the public outcry finally got to him.
It's like, probably a public outcry.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like super, super weird. I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was just like important to just kind of follow up the previous story and be like, well, he's out, he's free. I did want to note, one of the things that didn't happen that I thought was going to surely happen, and a lot of people on the internet did too, at the Grammys was a lot of outcry about 21 Savage, but only one person mentioned him in the entire show.
Really?
Weirdly, not Post Malone, who has a song collaborating with him. So yeah, it was very weird that was not a topic of conversation during the ceremony, but now he's free, so he's out amongst people again, which is good, and hopefully something stupid like this won't happen again.
Oh, it'll happen again.
It will, because that's the world we live in now. All right. But that's pretty much it for that story.
Okay. Well, you have some music that you listen to then.
I do. Yeah, I listened to a couple things.
So, you listened to the new Backstreet Boys album, Dinner.
So, I was supposed to.
Okay.
I still did not.
You still did not?
I wrote that last night thinking that I was going to, and I totally forgot today. It was a busy, busy day, and so I didn't realize that was something I had to do. And so, yeah, I still have not listened to that Backstreet Boys album. I know I have to. I will get to it. I promise. Next week.
Okay. But you did listen to Ariana Grande's Thank You, Next.
But I did listen to Thank You Next.
Okay.
Presumably next week's #1 record.
So, not the song, yes, but the actual album.
The album, Thank You Next. So this is, of course, Ariana Grande's full-length follow-up to Sweetener. And it's different. It comes out right from the top. Like, no, it's not a direct follow-up to Sweetener in tone or in sound. It is her kind of a more like diaristic kind of tone. The songs are very much about her and her own like experience. It's definitely the most like authored of any of her records so far. The songs, there aren't as many big single like real big jams. Like, she's not going for big radio hits this time. Instead, it's a little bit more subdued. There's a couple songs like the one of the highlights is a song called NASA, where it's basically this ode to needing some space and basically asking who she's with to be like, no, I need some me time. But with some really great space metaphors to go with it. But yeah.
Okay, sure. Now, this album did come, like, very quickly. Does it feel rushed?
No. Actually, surprisingly, no, it doesn't. It sounds like something she spent a lot of time on, which is weird. Because it just feels... Yeah, it doesn't feel like that there's any rush, but it also doesn't feel like there was, like, much... It feels very effortless for something that is as well produced as it is. And the fact that she's at a point in her career where she can kind of just toss off something that sounds this good is kind of amazing. The singles, that would be Thank You Next and
Seven Rings.
And Seven Rings, are on this record as well. But they're kind of relegated to the back end of it. Almost as if the actual album here came later, like formed itself fully, and she felt like she needed to put the singles on at the end, kind of almost as honorary bonus tracks. That's definitely how this thing feels. It's like it's a very cohesive whole, and then you have like 3 or 4 songs at the end that feel like very much like, here, these are the stuff we've either already put out or the stuff that sounds like something that could have been on Sweetener, including the one that we had hinted at a couple weeks ago with the track list. Break up with your girlfriend. I'm bored.
Yeah.
It ends up being kind of more of like a kind of poppy kind of, like something that would have felt more at home on Sweetener than it does with the rest of the songs. But yeah, a lot of very a lot of orchestrated sounds, a lot of like. There's some really good balladry here. It's like it's very, very good. But yeah, I ended up liking it more than Sweetener at the end of it.
Really?
Which is, I think, going to be controversial because I think this will be a very divisive album because of it. I think the fact that she's not focusing on the No Tears Left to Cry style huge hits is going to disappoint a lot of people who really, really liked that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how people will treat it, but I certainly enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to this one. Unlike I listened to Sweetener, it just doesn't. I'm just not a big Ariana Grande fan.
That's fair.
Yeah, but we do have other stuff. We have video games still to talk about.
Yes, that does it for music, but we have to talk about games.
I mean, I did listen to Golden Hour again because it did win Album of the Year.
I did as well. Still holds up.
Still good.
It's still great. Turns out. Yeah. I don't need to tell you
that. I mainly did it to help the numbers, so hopefully it gets up to number 1.
Right.
For the Grammy bump.
Hopefully.
Alright. But we have video games to talk about.
Alright.
Last section
Tell me about
here.
Video games.
Well, I'll tell you about the new games that are coming out first.
Yeah, what are coming out?
First, we have Code, Realize. Tilde, Wintertide Miracles, and Tilde. This is a PlayStation and Vita game.
Writing this made me laugh so much.
We also have Civilization 6, Gathering Storm for the PC. For all you Civs.
This is an expansion to Civ 6.
Yep. Civ's good. Civ's always a good game. That Metro Exodus game is finally out.
Yeah, Metro Exodus.
For PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
On the Epic Games Store.
PC. Yes, Epic Games Store PC.
Yep.
Exclusive. We also have Far Cry, New Dawn for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
That is a standalone game set after the events of Far Cry 5. It's the thing that was shown off at the Game Awards.
Right. We also have Dragons, Dawn of New Riders for PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC.
This is your movie tie-in with the How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Oh, okay. So this is the movie tie-in.
This is what that is.
Okay. It's just called Dragons then?
Yeah, Dragons. Because that branding carries with the Netflix television show, which is also Dragons, something.
Yeah, Race to the Edge or whatever.
Yeah.
And finally, it's here.
Yes.
After long await.
Right.
Death End Quest for the PlayStation.
That's not a colon, sir. That's a semicolon.
Well, I'm semi-interested. Speaking of semicolons, Stains, Gate Elite for PlayStation, Switch, and PC.
Steins Gate, but I don't know for sure.
Steins
Gate.
Alright.
So I don't know what either of these games are. They sound super Japanese.
They look super Japanese.
Yeah.
But the game you probably want to play.
Yes.
The long-awaited Terry Crews starring vehicle may or may not actually be full of bugs. Crackdown 3 for the Xbox and PC.
Yes, after 3 delays?
Yeah.
Crackdown 3 is finally out. this week, and I will be checking this out because members of the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, get access to the campaign for free. So I will be checking out Crackdown 3. In fact, in case you like their Crackdown games, I have some advice for you. And if you own an Xbox One, Crackdown, the original Crackdown, is free right now on Xbox One.
Wait, it's free? Do I need Xbox Live to get it?
I don't know. Because I have Xbox Live, I can't tell you. But for me, and presumably for people in my position, it is not a Game Pass game. You just go to its page. If you search Crackdown, go to the page for Crackdown, and click Get More on the price, or See Price, I think it is. It'll just say free.
No.
And I was able to download it, and I played some of original Crackdown this week. Still holds up.
Oh.
It's still fun.
Is it still blocky?
It looks okay. They up-resed it, and the nice thing about the cell shading look of that original game is that up-reses really well.
Oh, okay.
It looks pretty good on this TV. So Crackdown 1, catch it.
Okay.
Get yourself prepared for the third one. But yeah, I guess I'll talk about that next week.
I may Redbox that if it's available.
Yeah, we'll see.
Crackdown's like an over-the-top action game.
Yeah,
and I
Crackdown's
like.
fun. It's an open world game that doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, it's. I would say it's the Saints Row of Xbox.
But no, Saints Row isn't Saints Row.
Saints Row's of Xbox. Because that wasn't an exclusive.
Yeah.
Speaking of exclusives, though, we have exclusive news coming straight out of Irvine.
Okay.
Which is not, this is heartbreaking too. But Blizzard.
Yeah. Well, it's not just Irvine, unfortunately.
Well, Activision Blizzard is laying off about 800 employees.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's 8% of its 9,600-person staff. As it refocuses its efforts on its Call of Duty, Candy Crush, Overwatch, Warcraft, Hearthstone, and Diablo franchises. A.k.a. the stuff they can microtransaction the hell out of.
Yeah.
Activision called the move a deprioritizing of initiatives that didn't meet expectations. In other words, they got rid of Destiny, so all the extra developers they had helping them didn't need to be employed.
This is really rough.
Yeah. Make it more rough, CEO Bobby Kotick said that the cuts would come from support staff while the company consolidates its commercial operations and reorganizes its marketing initiatives. Activision will be instead investing more in live services, Battle.net, esports, and advertising efforts. We saw this kind of coming.
So, the big picture story here is kind of twofold. One, it's in response to kind of an overall disappointing forecast for the entire video games industry. Activision is not the only one affected by this. This week we had stories about 2K also failing to meet expectations. We had Sony talking about lower PlayStation sales than they had forecasted.
Yep.
And then now today Nintendo, before their Direct, also there was a story out today about how they have had lower than expected forecasting for Switch sales that they then blamed on themselves, saying that they as a company did not do a good enough job of selling the Switch to people. I don't think that's true. I just think this is just right now, we're just at a low point for the industry. The second half of this, though, is a lot of people talking about how live games, like your Fortnites of the world, are changing up the game.
You mean
the system.
The free games?
Yeah. What we're seeing right now is a game that's as big as Fortnite is finally digging into actual console sales.
Yep.
When you have a game that you don't necessarily need an Xbox or a PlayStation or a Switch to play, that you can play on your phone.
I say people play Fortnite on their phone.
Yeah. It's becoming less and less lucrative to have something like that, and if it's the biggest game in the nation right now, then that's what people are going to be focusing on for the time being. That does not necessarily mean, however, that companies should be laying off 8% of their staff in response. They did an additional follow-up to the story, though, today that I saw real briefly on the Activision front. Activision also shut down the San Francisco office of King Games, them of Candy Crush.
Candy Crush.
This does not mean that King is done making games, of course. They have other studios. They are a foreign studio. But the San Francisco office, though, did get shut down. So it looks like there's just a lot of restructuring happening in this company right now. And yeah, it sucks that a lot of people had to bite it for them to give Bobby Kotick another bonus.
I know. Well, so he made $30 million in that bonus.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's still laying off 800 people.
It doesn't make any sense, and it sucks that we have expectations now in corporate culture that the CEO keeps getting paid ridiculous bonuses when your lowest of lowest workers all lose their jobs. It's like the fact that is a normal thing that we just kind of just throw off and be like, oh yeah, and that's how companies work. That sucks and that's messed up. But here we are. So.
Anyways, speaking of Sony and E3, Sony's decision to drop out of E3
this is a follow-up story as well.
Yeah, resulted in loss of an impact.
Wait, well, let's rephrase that. So this is Sony finally is clarifying why they are not attending E3. We had kind of been guessing for a while what the reasons might be. Finally, now here is a statement saying why they believe they did not need to appear.
Right. Quote, when we decided to take video games out of CES back in 1995, during the PlayStation 1 era, E3 served two constituencies.
What?
Constituencies.
What?
Constituencies.
Constituencies?
That thing.
All right, that was fun. Keep going.
Retailers and journalists. A trade show at the time of year for the nascent industry was exactly what we needed to do. Yeah. Now we have an event in February called Destination PlayStation, where we bring all retailers and third-party partners to come and hear the story of the year. This is their PlayStation Direct that they would do in December.
Right.
This is their event. They've grown to such a big enough company where they can do events like this where they are the sole spotlight. They no longer have to share it.
Yeah.
They're not gabbing for eyes or ears.
Right. So there were two kind of competing theories about why Sony wasn't going to show up. And this is them confirming the first of the two. Which was, it's like they finally realized like they don't need E3 anymore. They have their own company events that they get to hog the spotlight for, so they don't need to share the spotlight with all the rest of the companies at the E3 show floor. Mm-hmm. They're basically admitting, and the first of the big three to do so, I guess second technically if you count Nintendo, even though Nintendo's still on the show floor.
It is.
But yeah, they're the first ones to be like, it's not the same show that it was back in the 90s and 2000s. It's like not the biggest thing in the world anymore. We can make the biggest thing in the world whenever we want, is basically what they're saying.
They've seen how Nintendo deals with their Direct, and they've put on these PlayStation events over the course of the past 5 years.
Right.
So there is no need for E3. They no longer have to wait for the summer to show off what they want.
The one thing that isn't mentioned here, though, is theory number 2, which is they're gearing up for a new console next year. That's still not something that Sony is ready to talk about. However, would not be surprised that if they do, when they do eventually get around to a PlayStation-centric event this year, I bet they mention that it exists.
Well, it'd be their big exclusive to make people watch.
Yeah. But I bet that's coming.
All right. And that brings us to the thoughts. Well, I platinumed Kingdom Hearts.
You did it!
I did it.
You did it.
I did it.
Congratulations.
It felt self-worthy. Gonna play through it again for the story. And then I bought the all-in-one, so I'm gonna play through all the games because that's literally the only game I need to play this year.
Yeah, I guess so.
Alright. Did you play anything?
Yeah, I mean, I played some of Crackdown.
Okay.
But then I've also gotten really into, I don't know how this happened, but I've gotten really into the online Pokemon trading card game.
Oh. Mobile?
Which I've played before. Like, now I'm playing on my computer. Okay. But, like, I played it before and it never really grabbed me. For some reason, this time it's really got me. Where I'm spending in-game currency. Not real-world money yet, but spending in-game currency on cards, and I'm like actually trying to get into like the meta, and I'm actually competitive.
Oh,
like I'm winning a lot. Like freaking
like AI story mode or people?
No, real people.
Oh,
like I'm playing versus a lot, and there's like it's set up really cool. Like there's a lot of in-game rewards that you can get as long as you just keep going, and yeah, it's addictive.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like that's not really new, even though it's something.
It's not. I've dabbled into it back and forth.
It's fun.
But yeah, it's fun.
It's really grabbed me this time. I don't know why.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
that's it.
That brings us to the end.
I'll play Crackdown next week.
All right. I'll probably play it if I can. But let's plug away.
All right. Yeah, that does it for video games, which means that does it for the Media Boat podcast. So let's plug it. If you want to see us live and when we record the show, we record on Wednesday nights, sometime around 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. You can find us on youtube.com. Just search Media Boat Podcast and you'll find us. You can also listen to the audio version of the podcast as well. We're Media Boat Podcast on Apple Podcasts, as well as other RSS feed-driven ones that grab the RSS feeds from the Apple Podcasts. Just search Media Boat and you'll find us. You can also find us on the internet elsewhere on social media. Twitter, we're at MediaBoatCast. Facebook, we have a page. Just search Media Boat Podcast to find it. Twitch.tv, sometimes we stream video games, including Kingdom Hearts 3, which people probably watched you finish up.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/MediaBoat, where you can find that. We can also be found on Patreon if you want to help us out with money. As little as $1 a month can help us make content even better than we already have. Just go to patreon.com/MediaBoat to donate. And that'll do it. We'll see you guys next week for another proper edition of the Media Boat podcast. And like we said earlier, we'll also have a special podcast at some point, probably recorded, not live, for you with our predictions for the Academy Awards before they happen. So look forward to both those things. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back.
Goodbye.
All right. Bye. Okay.